Hello. Welcome to the first meeting of electronics physics. Today, we're going to discuss circuits with DC sources. In particular, ang pag-uusapan natin ngayong araw ay voltage dividers, applications ng voltage dividers, current dividers, and then how we apply these concepts to voltage and current measurements. Okay. And then how to solve for power in series and parallel circuits, and yung loading effect ng tawag dito, loading effect ng voltmeter sa measurements, okay, using the concept of voltage dividers. Okay, so let's begin with this with our lesson. So we'll begin with voltage dividers. Okay. So voltage dividers. What are voltage dividers? Basically, ang voltage divider ay isang circuit which has this form. Okay. So a voltage divider, lagay ko na lang, consists of a series of resistors connected to a voltage source. Okay, and the resistors divide the voltage. Okay. Okay, so itong nakikita niyong figure dito is the basic circuit for a voltage divider. And how does it divide yung voltage? So you have this voltage source, okay, which is 10 volts, okay, Vs. In this circuit, it's 10 volts. And then yung Vs is divided into V1 at saka V2. And how the voltage V1 and V2 are divided depends on yung resistances R1 tsaka R2. So if you take a multimeter and measure the voltage across this 100 ohm resistor, yan yung V1. And if you take the same multimeter and measure the voltage across the 200 ohm resistor, then yan yung V2. Okay, so you don't take the voltage measurement across all of the resistors, but instead you take the voltage measurement across each of the resistors, and in that sense you divide the voltage. Okay. In this particular example, okay, sabihin natin ito terminals A, B, and C. So let's solving for voltage AB, for example, voltage across AB. Paano natin kukunin yung voltage across AB? Basically, ang ginagawa muna natin is sinusolve muna natin yung current, di ba? Total current dun sa buong circuit, okay, which is 10 volts over 100 ohm plus 200 ohms. Yan yung total current. And then, to get VAB, multiply natin yung total current by 100 ohms. Okay, and that's how we get the voltage across AB. Ang sagot dito is about 3.33 volts. Similarly, for voltage BC, again, we take the total current, and total current is 10 volts divided by 100 ohms plus 200 ohms. And then we multiply the total current by the value of the resistor dito sa across BC, which is 200 ohms, and in this case it's about 6.67 volts. Okay, and this works because yung total current in series ay the same for any resistors. Okay, kaya dito yung voltage divider dapat mag-consist ng series of resistors or resistors in series. Okay. Now, even though resistors ang pinapakita natin dito, in the future, when we go through a little bit more advanced lessons, okay, makikita nyo na you can use the voltage divider circuit even if they're not resistors. Ang concept yung maganda lang maintindihan nyo dito. Okay, we can replace this later on. We can replace this by a capacitor, for example, or by an inductor, by other circuit elements. And ang kailangan lang natin malaman is yung effective resistance na pinoproduce nung isang capacitor and ng isang inductor. Yes, merong resistance ang capacitor at inductor, and pag-aaralan natin yun in the future. Okay, so we can generalize yung equation for the voltage divider. Okay, kasi if you have this kind of circuit, okay, so ang isang pwede niyong gawin is to again solve for the total current which you can get. Okay, so the total current is just equal to the source voltage divided by the sum of all the resistances. Okay, and then you multiply that current, okay, through each of the across or by each value of the resistors, depende kung anong output o anong resistor yung gusto nyo maging output. So if you want the output across V1, for example, then you multiply the total current by R1. If you want the output across V3, then you multiply the total current by R3, and so on and so forth. Okay, so makikita natin dito na yung general expression is so yung general expression, okay, is given by VI. Okay, yung VI is yung voltage across any resistor. Okay, so and that's the total that's multiplied by, or that's equal to the total current V sub S divided by the sum of all the resistances. Okay, and then multiplied by kung ano man yung resistance. Okay, we can rewrite this as Ri over sum ng Ri times Vs. Okay, para nandito sa expression na to magkasama yung mga resistances, and then you just multiply it by Vs. Okay, so yan yung ating general na expression for the voltage divider circuit. Okay, so let's okay, so let's let's consider this example. Determine V1, which is the voltage across R1, and V2, which is the voltage across R2. So first, we can use the voltage divider equation. So, so we can use, for example, V1 is equal to R1 over yung total resistance R1 plus R2 times Vs. So this will be 82 ohms divided by 82 ohms plus 68 ohms times Vs, which is 10 volts, and this will give us 5.47 volts. And yung V2 naman is just R2, so R1 plus R2 times Vs is equal to 68 ohms divided by 150 ohms times 10 volts, and this will give us 4.53 volts. And makikita nyo na pag in-add nyo yung V1 tsaka V2, so if you add V1 plus V2, okay, you get 10 volts, which is expected. Okay, so that's one way to check yung answer ninyo kung tama o mali. Okay, so which means na dito ang output dito, okay, is 4.53 volts. Okay, and yung output naman dito across V1 is 5.47 volts. Okay, so basically Yan. So nakikita natin kung paano ni-divide yung voltage. Okay, minsan kasi or in many applications, you don't really need yung buong 10 volts, but you need only a portion of those, a portion of the 10 volts para gamitin dun sa iyong circuit. Okay? Makikita nyo na karamihan ng mga voltage sources ay 12 volts or 15 volts or 9 volts. And you don't really need yung mga 9 volt, 12 volts, saka 15 na yun. You sometimes just need a fraction of those or a certain percent of those para i-apply dun sa inyong circuit. And that's when you apply, or that's when you use the voltage divider circuit. So the voltage divider is really a simple and basic circuit, but a very powerful circuit na ginagamit in many circuit applications. Okay, so let's consider another example. So calculate the voltage drop across each resistor in the circuit. So in this case, we have V1 is equal to R1 divided by R1 plus R2 plus R3 is equal to or times V sub S. So V1, it's 100 ohms divided by 100 plus 220 plus 680, so 1,000 kilo ohms yun, ano? So 1 kilo ohm multiplied by 10 volts. So that gives us 1 volt, 1.0 volts. V2 naman is just 220 ohms divided by 1 kilo ohm times 10 volts. So this is 2.2 volts. And then V3 is 680 ohms divided by 1 kilo ohm. 10 volts. This will give us 6.80. Okay? And of course, yung sum nitong tatlo will be 10 volts, which is equal to the source voltage. Okay? Okay. So, if you have any questions, since this is asynchronous, ang gawin nyo lang is i-pause nyo yung video and then isulat nyo yung timestamp ng video para alam ko kung aling part ng video kayo may gustong itanong. And then of course, i-send nyo yung question niyo. You can send your questions via email and tawag dito, pwede kayong mag-indicate na ng timestamp or pwede nyo i-screen capture lang yung image and then i-explain kung ano yung question niyo. Okay? Kung sa tingin nyo kailangan ng mas extensive na tawag dito explanation, then we can just schedule a Zoom meeting during consultation hours. Okay, so now there is this device, which is typically used to divide the voltage. And this device is called a potentiometer. Okay? And ang isang kinaganda ng potentiometer is that it's a variable voltage divider. And it's a variable voltage divider because you can tune the resistance. Okay? So, ganito yung itsura ng potentiometer. Okay? Yan yung actual na itsura niya pag ginamit nyo. And ito yung schematic. Okay? And kung titignan nyo, merong tatlong terminals yung potentiometer. Terminal 1, 2, at saka 3. So this is terminal 1. Okay, so magkakaiba ng magkakaiba ng numbering, ano. Pero in any case, so ito yung isang terminal, let's say this is the ground terminal and this is the positive terminal and this is the output terminal. Okay, so itong ground terminal ay connected of course sa ground and then yung positive terminal ay connected sa positive terminal ng voltage source. As we can see from the schematic of the voltage. Oh, okay, dito pala. Okay, so as we can see from the schematic of the voltage divider circuit. Okay. So, anong voltage ng 1 and 2? Ang voltage across 1 and 2 is always 10 volts. Okay? It's always 10 volts kasi sila yung nakakonect dun sa voltage source. Okay, so yung 1 is connected to the positive and 2 is connected to ground. Now, itong 3, okay, yung V32, okay, remember that yung first na number dito is the sort of the positive, and then yung second is the reference. Okay, and typically the reference is ground. Okay, so yung V32, yan yung output voltage. Okay, so yan yung output voltage. Okay, and you can turn this knob, okay, and when you turn that, nagbabago rin yung V32 at saka V13. Okay, so you can change the output voltage by simply turning yung knob. Okay, now yung V13 plus V32 is always equal to 10 volts kasi yung V13 plus V32 is equal to V12. Okay, V13 plus V32 is equal to V12. But if you turn the knob, okay, yung V32 ay pwedeng lumiit, at pag lumiit yung V32, lalaki naman yung V13. Okay? Kasi pag lumiit, di ba, ang V13, lalaki yung V32, kasi dapat yung sum nila is always yung Vs. Okay? Okay? And that's what makes a potentiometer a useful circuit element. Okay? Kasi you can tune kung ano yung voltage na pwede mong gawin. Hindi yung pipili ka pa ng resistor na pa isa-isa. Okay? Just to figure out kung ano yung tawag dito, output voltage na gusto mo. Okay? So, ito yung kinaganda nung potentiometer. So, this is the schematic, this is the equivalent schematic. Okay? And tulad nung sinasabi ko kanina, if you turn the knob, okay, so pwedeng sa gitna, okay, kung isi-set nyo sa gitna, then of course, yung tawag dito, yung output is 5 volts, but if you sort of turn it in some direction, mag-i-increase yung V32 to 9.5 volts, at yung V13 naman will be 0.5 volts. And if you lower, okay naman, yung knob, or you turn it in the opposite direction, di magdi-decrease yung V32, magiging 2 volts, and ito magiging 8 volts. Yung V13 magiging 8 volts. Okay, so that's basically how a potentiometer works. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to show you a video, just about mga 4 minutes para makita niyo yung itsura ng potentiometer, and then how a potentiometer is constructed and how it does, or how it divides yung voltage in a variable manner.
Sponsored by PCBWay. This is a potentiometer. It's an adjustable resistor. They come in many shapes and sizes. We can insert them into test boards, connect wires to them, solder directly to them, or solder them onto circuit boards.
Let me just pause this for a bit kasi medyo mahina. Stop share. Let me increase ko lang yung volume.
Sponsored by PCBWay. This is a potentiometer. It's an adjustable resistor. They come in many shapes and sizes. We can insert them into test boards, connect wires to them, solder directly to them, or solder them onto circuit boards. They usually have a dial, a slider, or an adjustable screw head, which lets us change the resistance of the component. They are represented with symbols like these in engineering drawings. We can use them to manually adjust the voltage or current in a circuit. When used to adjust current, we call them a rheostat. I'll explain how to use both of these later on in the video. See this game controller? Well, the joystick has 2 potentiometers. One measures the up and down movements, and the other measures the left and right movements. This is a servo motor. We use them in robotics. Inside, we find a small potentiometer, which is used to check and control the position of the arm. This radio uses a potentiometer to control the volume. This DC power supply uses a potentiometer to control the supply voltage. This audio equipment uses a slide potentiometer. So where have you seen them used? Let me know in the comment section down below. Okay, so how do they work? If we look at a typical rotary potentiometer, we notice there is a metal protective casing on the back, which is simply held in position by these small arms on the front. All of the parts connect onto a small brown sheet of insulation. Along the top edge, we usually find some letters and numbers. I'll explain these in just a moment. We then notice a long shaft rising up off of the device. We can rotate this to alter the resistance of the component. You'll see there is a slot cut into the top for a screwdriver, or on the side are some ridges which just help us grip the shaft. We can also attach a knob onto this. At the base of the shaft, there is a threaded section which we can use to attach the component to a sheet of material. Along the lower edge are 3 metal terminals. We connect our circuit to these terminals. These terminals can be straight or angled depending on the application. When we remove the back case, we can see there is a track which runs between the 2 end terminals. Another track runs in a loop at the center and connects only to the center terminal. The outer track has a very dark material over it. This is the resistive material. The track even looks like the symbol for resistance, so it's very easy to remember. A wiper forms a bridge between the outer and inner track. It is slightly spring-loaded to ensure a good connection. This is attached to the shaft. Rotating the shaft rotates the wiper. The further we rotate the wiper, the further electrons will have to flow to get to the center pin, and so the resistance increases. We can also reverse the connections so that we reduce the resistance as the shaft rotates. On the printed text, we usually find a K or M at the end, meaning 1,000 or million. This one shows 1K, meaning it's 1,000 ohms. This one shows 500K, which is 500,000 ohms. And this one shows 1M, which is 1 million ohms. These values tell us the maximum resistance of this component. The first letter indicates the type. B is very common. It means the resistance changes in a linear pattern. Then we have type A, which gives us a logarithmic pattern. We also have type C, which gives us an inverse or reverse logarithmic pattern. However, the letters used can vary by country and also by manufacturer. So always check the manufacturer's datasheet, or you can check the performance with a multimeter. By the way, this is the new smart multimeter.
Okay, so I hope na dun sa video ay may nakuha kayong or naintindihan niyo kung paano nag-work yung potentiometer. Okay, and dun sa video pinakita rin yung applications nung potentiometer. If you want to watch the full video, ipoprovide ko naman yung link sa BLE or somewhere. Okay, sa Google Calendar most probably. Okay, so nakita nyo na ang applications ng voltage divider ay wide and varied. Anywhere na kailangan yung baguhin yung voltage or resistance, then you use a potentiometer. And dito, isa rin to sa mga examples na pwedeng paggamitan ng potentiometer. So halimbawa sa amplification ng volume, kaya yung nakita nyo kanina. Okay, so volume amplification and for example sa gas tanks or sa storage tanks, you use this type of device. Okay, generally ang tawag dito is a transducer. Okay, transducer is any device that converts mechanical to electrical, okay, systems. Pag-aaralan din natin yan mamaya. Okay, and what this does is pag pag mataas yung level, di mataas din yung tawag dito yung level ng bola na ito, and this is sort of the lever that rotates that acts as the pole that is rotating dun sa potentiometer. Okay? So pag bumaba yan, di parang ni-rotate nyo in the other direction yung potentiometer ninyo. And the output indicates kung full or empty yung storage tanks. Okay? Ang isa pang application ng voltage divider, okay, nakikita nyo rito, na actually pag-aaralan natin in the future, is a bias circuit for a transistor amplifier. Okay, later on, pag-aaralan natin kung ano yung transistor. Okay, pero we use the voltage divider as a voltage source para dun sa transistor. Okay, so pinapakita ko na sa inyo ito as early as now, okay, para maging familiar kayo at siguro para hindi kayo gaano matakot dun sa mga circuits na yan. Okay? Okay, so now, when you use a voltage divider, you typically apply that voltage sa isang load. Okay? So, halimbawa, tawag dito, mag-charge ka ng circuit. Okay? O mag-charge ka ng phone. Okay? So, yung charger nyo is the voltage source. Okay? Pero yung charger na yan, sinasaksak nyo yan sa 220, di ba? Sa saksakan, sa plug. Okay? Ngayon, yung plug is 220, pero mapapansin nyo yung output, okay, dun sa charger nyo is 12 volts. So, somewhere in that circuit, somewhere dyan sa charger na yan, there's a voltage divider. Now, remember na yung voltage, na yung charger nyo, okay, is connected to the phone. And yung charger ay merong internal resistance, which in this case, pwede natin sabihin na represented by itong R2 na ito. Okay, so yung R2 na yan can represent yung resistance, internal resistance ng charger ninyo. Nakakonect na yun sa phone. So, halimbawa, ito yung mobile phone ninyo, yung mobile device. Okay. Yung mobile device nyo also has an internal resistance. And that tawag dito, internal resistance is called the load resistance. Okay? So yung mobile device niyo acts as the load kasi doon nyo nilo-load yung output voltage, okay, coming from this terminal, A to ground. Okay? So yung output across R2 is loaded, okay, into the load. Okay? So yung load na yan ay meron ding load resistance, okay, given by R sub L. So, isipin nyo na lahat ng electrical devices ay merong load resistance. Now, yan ang pag-aaralan natin ngayon. Ano yung effect ng load resistance na yan dun sa ating voltage divider circuit? Okay, so bakit ito importante? Kasi kung titignan nyo dito sa figure 27, dito sa schematic sa baba, okay, yung output voltage, okay, so yung output voltage dito, Vs, okay, yung output voltage dito, V2, okay, has this value. Okay, now if you apply a load, and that load resistance is comparable to R2, okay, remember, pag comparable sila, edi magiging parallel circuit sila, mababawasan yung output voltage. So you're no longer giving yung load mo ng correct na output voltage just because sinaksak mo yung load dun sa voltage divider circuit mo. And that's called the loading effect. Loading effect. Okay, now, ibig sabihin, merong condition, okay, yung RL, okay, such that hindi siya makaapekto dun sa output ng voltage divider. Okay, so you want RL to be some value, okay, in relation sa R2 para yung output across R2 is not decreased. Okay? So, ang tawag So dito, so you can see from the caption that RL is not significantly greater than R2. So if that is the case, then meron kang voltage loading or meron loading effect. Pero pag RL is much greater than R2, okay, makikita nyo na wala ka nung loading effect. Okay, so this is called, in this case, pag walang loading effect, okay, this is called a stiff voltage divider. Okay, a stiff voltage divider. Okay, ano ngayon yung tawag dito, minimum value ng RL para hindi siya magbigay ng loading effect dun sa voltage divider? Well, ang rule of thumb is that a stiff voltage divider is one in which the load resistance is at least 10 times larger than the divider resistors. So if you're loading the load dun sa R2, for example, yung RL must be greater than or equal to at least, di ba? Greater than or equal to 10 times R2. Okay, so let's do the math for that. Okay, so we have Vs is equal to voltage across R2 divided by R1 plus R2 parallel to RL. Sorry, output voltage dapat ito. V2 to value, V2, and then times Vs. Okay, so dito ko na lang lalagay siguro. R2 parallel to RL. Okay, we're going to use this kind of notation all throughout our physics 173. Okay, so R2 over parallel to RL means 1 over R2 plus 1 over RL inverse. Diba? Ganyan mag-compute ng parallel resistance between R2 and RL. Okay? So now, since RL is 10 times greater than R2, then 1 over R2 plus 10, okay, R2, okay, inverse. Okay, this gives us 1 over R2 inverse, okay, times 1 plus 1 over 10. So this is approximately equal to R2. Kasi yung itong 10%, you can neglect that. Okay? Tawag dito more or less. So V2 ngayon will be approximately equal to R2 over R1 plus R2 times Vs if this condition is satisfied. Kasi yung R2 over RL, R2 parallel to RL is approximately equal to R2. Okay. Okay, so you end up with the same expression, with the original expression for the voltage divider circuit if this condition, if this rule of thumb is satisfied. Okay? Okay. So in that case, wala ka ng voltage loading. Okay, so let's consider this example. Determine the unloaded output voltage of the voltage divider in figure 28. In letter B, find the loaded output voltages of the voltage divider for the following two values of load resistance. RL is equal to 10 kilo ohms and RL is equal to 100 kilo ohms. So letter A, yung output voltage dito, okay, so unloaded. So ibig sabihin, we're solving for the voltage divider without this RL. Okay, output across R2. So that's voltage R. So V is equal to R2, R1 plus R2 times Vs. Ang R2 is 10 kilo ohms and then ang R1 is 4.7 kilo ohms plus 10 kilo ohms times 5 volts. And this will give us 2.58. No. Without Pag unloaded, this is approximately equal to 10 over 15, 3 point something. Okay. Wait. Dali ah. 10 over 15.67, 1/3, 5 over 5, 2/3 pala. 2/3, 5 over 3, 10 over 3, 3 point something, 3.33. Approximately 3.33, 3.3 volts. Okay. Okay. Yeah, 3.3, 3.3 volts. Okay. Now, so letter B. Okay. Ang load resistance is unang load resistance na gagamitin natin is 10 kilo ohms. So V2 is equal to R2. Oh, sorry. R2 parallel to RL, R2 parallel to RL, R1 plus R2 parallel to RL. Wait, balikan natin to. Dapat ito R2 parallel to RL. Okay? So, ganyan dapat yan. Okay, so times Vs. Anong R2 parallel to RL? So they are the same, but R2 is equal to RL is equal to 10 kilo ohms. And if they are the same, ibig sabihin yung R2 parallel to RL is just 1/2 of that, which is 5 kilo ohms. Okay, you can do the calculations yourself. Ganyan, 1 over 10 kilo ohms plus 1 over 10 kilo ohms. Inverse niyan is 5 kilo ohms. Okay, so 5 kilo ohms divided by 4.7 kilo ohms plus 5 kilo ohms times 5 volts. And this gives us 2.58 volts. Okay. The other hand, oops, D and letter C. This is for RL equal to 10 kilo ohms. On the other hand, yung V2 for RL equals 100 kilo ohms. Okay. This will give us R2 parallel to RL, R1 plus R2 parallel to RL Vs. So, pag ang R2, okay, pag ang RL is 100 kilo ohms, then we have 1 over 10 kilo ohm plus 1 over 100 kilo ohms inverse. And this gives us approximately, so 1 over 10.1, 0.0 plus 0.01, 0.11. So this approximately give us 9.9 volts. Okay, so 9.9 ohms pala. Kilo ohms. 9.9 kilo ohms. 0.11 pa 9.9 times no, sorry. Yung ginagawa ko. 9.9. So 9.9 kilo ohms divided by 4.7 kilo ohms plus 9.9 kilo ohms times 5 volts gives us, well, 3.3 volts, which is approximately the same dun sa well, not approximately the same, almost the same or exactly the same dun sa dun sa case na kung saan unloaded yung circuit. Okay. So if you do this calculation correctly, this should be 3.4 volts. Okay, so this will give you what, 3% in error, and this will give you 24% difference dun sa 3.4 volts. Okay. Okay, so yan yung loading effect nung sa circuit. Okay, o yan ang ibig sabihin ng loading effect. Okay. Now, when you make a measurement, okay, ng voltage, you usually use a voltmeter. And tulad nung sinabi ko kanina, lahat ng devices ay merong internal resistance. including a voltmeter. Now, yung nakikita niyo dyan sa figure, okay, ay voltmeter measuring the voltage across R3. Okay? Now, ang sabi natin dapat dito, yung internal resistance ng voltmeter, so this is the internal resistance of voltmeter, okay, ay dapat greater than or equal to 10 times, in this case, R3. Okay? Now, if you recall your Physics 102, okay, yung internal resistance ng voltmeter is ideally infinite. Okay? But in reality, hindi. Okay? And kung titignan nyo rin yung voltmeter, kung naalala nyo, yung multimeter ninyo, di ba nagpapalit kayo doon ng ano, may switch, di ba? You switch from one range to the other. And the reason you're switching, kasi pinapalitan yung internal resistance nung voltmeter. Okay, so if you're measuring like for example 1 to 10 volts lang, okay, that may internal load yung voltmeter at that switch position. Pero if you're measuring higher voltages, then the internal load must be higher, so kaya mo i-switch to another internal resistance yung multimeter ninyo. Okay, so this is something that you have to keep in mind. Okay, kasi well, actually, ito yung isa sa mga rason kung bakit nasisira yung mga voltmeter kasi hindi ito iniisip ng mga estudyante. Ang iniisip lang nila is, okay, voltmeter, ideal to na device, walang mangyayari sa kanya pag saksak lang ng saksak. Okay, so if you keep this in mind, dapat maalala nyo rin na when you're measuring voltage, you're actually measuring it across the circuit element. And when you're measuring current, if you recall, you're measuring it in series with the circuit element. Now, ito yung isipin niyo. If you want to measure the voltage and you tawag dito, you didn't know or siguro by accident, you measured it in series with the circuit element. And remember na yung voltmeter ay high internal resistance, okay? And you measure it in series with yung circuit element na gusto niyo i-measure, ano mangyayari doon? Then you have a total current which is very, very small. Bakit lumiit? Kasi yung voltmeter niyo mataas yung resistance eh. And in series siya with the circuit element. Okay? So mangyayari is yung measurement niyo will be approximately or very near zero. Then you'll have an incorrect reading. On the other hand, kung nagme-measure kayo ng, in that case pala, okay, wala kayong problema sa voltmeter kasi the voltmeter can handle the current. Unless na it's super high current. Okay. On the other hand, pag nagme-measure kayo ng current at ang ideal na ammeter, okay, actually has low resistance, okay, and then you measure that across, okay, so halimbawa ito, palitan nyo ito ng ammeter, so gawin nyo itong ammeter, yan, and yung ammeter has low resistance, okay, saan pupunta yung current? Yung current pupunta dyan sa ammeter. If you measure the current like this na parallel dun sa R3, if you measure the current incorrectly, if you placed yung terminals ng ammeter incorrectly dun sa circuit at nakaparallel, ganito yung mangyayari. Yung current ay pipiliin niya yung path of least resistance. Ito, mataas ang resistance. Yung ammeter niyo sobrang baba ng resistance niyan. Okay, by design. Saan pupunta yung current? Pupunta lahat yan dyan sa ammeter. And dahil mababa yung current, mababa yung resistance, mataas yung current na pupunta sa ammeter, posible nyong masira yung multimeter, yung voltmeter. So it's important to keep in mind yung ganitong klaseng tawag dito, ganitong klaseng tawag dito, way of measurement para hindi nyo rin masira yung mga gamit. Okay, and that's why we're studying these things. Okay, so for a voltmeter, okay, you always measure across the terminal. For the ammeter, you measure it in series with the circuit element. And for a voltmeter, yung internal resistance niya is relatively high. Yung ammeter, yung internal resistance niya is really low. Okay, and tawag dito, you want the voltmeter to have a high resistance, a high internal resistance para walang loading effect. Okay? Okay, so let's consider this example. So how much does the digital voltmeter affect the voltage being measured for each circuit? Okay. So assume that the meter has an input resistance of 10 mega ohms. Okay, how much does digital voltmeter affect the voltage being measured? Okay, for each circuit as indicated in figure 34. Okay, so let's see. Tignan muna natin yung effect pag wala yung voltmeter. Okay, so without the voltmeter, no loading, voltmeter. So no loading, no voltage loading. Then yung output voltage across resistor 2 is R2 over R1 plus R2 times BS. So this is 100 ohms divided by 180 ohms, 280 ohms times 15 volts. Okay, this gives us 5.357 volts. Okay, pag walang voltage loading. Okay, yan yung ina-expect natin. Now, okay, okay, if we consider yung voltmeter, okay, na may load na RL, yung voltmeter may load na 10 mega ohms. Okay, then yung V2 nga natin ngayon, RL is equal to 10 mega ohms, will be equal to 100 ohms parallel to 10 mega ohms. Okay, para sa case ng letter A pala, sorry. Okay, in this case, V2 is equal to 100 ohms parallel to 100 mega ohms divided by 180 ohms plus 100 ohms parallel to 100 mega ohms times 15 volts. Okay, anong ibibigay sa atin ito? Ang bibigay sa atin ito ay yung ito is just equal to 99.999 ohms. So yung output voltage ngayon, okay, is 5.357. Okay, so wait. Tama. 5.323. 5.323. 323. No, 5.357. Sorry, nalilito ako sa solution. Okay, yan yung para sa letter A. Okay. So this, para sa letter B, ang RL ngayon dito ang R2, sorry, is 100 kilo ohms. So yung V2 is equal to 100 kilo ohms divided by 180 ohms plus 100 kilo ohms times 15 volts. Okay, this gives us 180 kilo ohms din pala yan. This gives us the same 5.357 volts. 100 kilo ohms, 180 kilo ohms. Okay. Okay, so with voltage loading, okay, V2 becomes 100 kilo ohms, 100 kilo ohms, tapos 10 mega ohms divided by 180 kilo ohms plus 100 kilo ohms parallel to 10 mega ohms times 15 volts. Okay, ito will give us 99.01 kilo ohms. So yung sagot dito ngayon, yung output voltage will be 5.323 volts. Okay, 5.323 volts. Okay, so lumiit siya kumpara sa 5.357 just because tumaas yung R2. And for letter C, yung R2 is equal to 1 mega ohm. Okay, so V2 is equal to 1 mega ohm divided by 1.8 mega ohms plus 1 mega ohm times 15 volts. Ito yung walang loading. Okay, so this gives us 5.357 pa rin. And then pag may loading, so we have 1 mega ohm parallel to 10 mega ohms divided by 1.8 mega ohms plus 1 mega ohm parallel to 10 mega ohms times 15 volts. And this gives us, so itong parallel resistance nito gives us 909.09 kilo ohms. And this gives us 5.034 volts. And kumpara sa 5.357, sa 5.357 volts, medyo malaki na yung naging difference. So as you increase yung resistance, okay, yung resistance ng circuit elements ninyo, as you make it nearer dun sa internal resistance, okay, nung voltmeter, then the voltage loading due to the voltmeter becomes more apparent. Okay, so mas nagiging obvious. Okay? Okay. Okay, so yan ngayon yung applications nung voltage divider. Now let's take a look at yung how we solve for power in a series circuit. Okay, if you recall, power is the rate of change of energy in a system. Sa electronics, it's the rate at which energy is transferred. So, limbawa, 1 watt is 1 joule per second. So, you're transferring 1 joule of energy from your voltage source to your load in 1 second. Okay? So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng power. So, kung gaano kabilis kayo nagbibigay, nagpo-provide ng energy dun sa load, or gaano kabilis din natatanggal yung energy from a circuit element. So basically, in a series circuit, yung total power, okay, total power. So PT is the total power. So total power is just the sum of the individual powers in a resistive circuit. Okay, so if you have n resistors, a number of resistors in series, okay, then ang gagawin nyo is kunin nyo yung power output ng isang resistor, power output ng pangalawa, at power output ng lahat ng resistors individually, and then i-add nyo lang sila, yun yung total na power. So you can also express yung total na power as equal to the source voltage times yung total na current. Okay. Of course, yung total na current is just, di ba? In series naman sila, is the same current all throughout through each of the resistors. equal dito sa current squared times yung total resistance. Okay, and remember yung total resistance ay sum lang ng resistances since series resistors naman ito. At equal to sa Vs squared over RT. Okay, so source voltage squared divided by the total resistance. Okay, so ganyan lang kasimple yung pag-compute ng power in a series circuit. Okay, let's see. Let's consider this example. Ano yung total amount of power dito sa series circuit na ito? Okay. So maraming pwedeng paraan, di ba? So pwede nyo i-compute yung total resistance. Okay, and then multiply nyo, tawag dito, gamitin nyo itong equation na ito. Pwede nyo i-compute yung total current, then multiply nyo by Vs. Okay, so you can use any of those techniques. Siguro ang pinakamadali is, in our case, is this, kasi yung given is the source voltage at yung individual na resistances. Okay, so what we're going to use is Vs squared over RT. And we know that Vs is just 15 volts. Yung RT can be computed to be 10 ohms plus 12 ohms plus 56 ohms plus 22 ohms. Okay, at equal yan sa 100 ohms conveniently. So ang total power is 15 volts squared divided by 100 ohms. So ito ay 225 volts squared divided by 100 ohms or 2.25 watts. Okay, you can also use yung tawag dito yung current. Okay, so remember that you can solve for the current by simply dividing the source voltage by the total resistance. Okay, so source voltage is V, 15 volts, then total resistance 100 ohms. So 15 divided by anong tawag dito? 15 divided by 100 is 0.15. So that's 0.15 amperes or 150 milliamperes. Okay. Tawag dito. Then you can use one of the equations. PT is equal to VSI. So 15 volts times 0.15 amperes. That's also 2.25 watts. Or if you want, you can solve for the individual power. Okay, so ang gagawin nyo lang is I squared Ri for each of the resistances, and then i-add nyo lahat ng power na yon to get the total power. Okay, so yun yung mga pwede nyo gawin to solve for the power. So solving for the power is really straightforward. Okay, just figure out the individual powers or figure out the total resistance, and you can use any of these equations para masolve yung total power. Okay. Okay, so earlier we discussed what voltage dividers are. Ngayon, ang titignan naman natin ay yung current divider. So, what is a current divider? Tulad ng voltage divider, you have a circuit that divides the voltage sa voltage divider. Here, you have a circuit that divides the current. And that circuit consists of parallel resistors. So, tawag dito, current divider is composed of parallel resistors. Okay, and the current is divided through each of these resistors. Okay, so makikita natin yung dito. So yung total current is this, and of course yung total current goes through the circuit elements, okay, and then through that, and then pagdating sa junction na yan, madi-divide siya into I1 at saka I2. Okay, so that's how the circuit elements are. So that's how the current is divided across the circuit elements. Okay? Okay, so dito makikita nyo yung voltage source, okay, passing through an ammeter. So ang total, ang reading nung tawag dito nung current dun sa ammeter is 66 milliamperes. Okay, and then pagdating niyo dito sa junction na ito, na-divide yung current to 60 milliamperes and 6 milliamperes. And yung amount, yung value ng current, okay, that it gets depends on the resistances. Okay, contrary sa voltage divider, the higher the resistance, the higher din yung voltage division, yung voltage na di-divide niya. Dito, you can see na pag mataas yung current, mas mataas yung resistance, mababa yung current. Pag mababa yung resistance, mataas yung current. And that makes sense, di ba? Kasi mababa nga yung resistance, so it will give you a larger current. Okay, kasi it allows for more electrons to pass through it. Okay, so what is the general expression for a voltage divider circuit? So if we consider this parallel circuit with n branches, so you have R1, R2, R3 hanggang Rn, so you have n resistors. Yung current to each resistor is I sub I, V sub S, R sub I. Okay. So yung source voltage is equal to the total current, okay, times the total resistance. Okay, ibig sabihin, yung I sub I, yung current through each circuit element, okay, is equal to I sub T, R sub T over R sub I. Or if we write this in terms of resistances, so i-isolate natin yung resistance dyan. So you have the total current divided by the individual current times the total resistance divided by the individual resistance multiplied by the total current. Okay, so dito ginroup ko lahat ng mga resistances. In contrast dun sa voltage divider, okay, voltage divider. So voltage divider, ang meron dyan is Ri over RT. Okay, yun nakalagay dyan. Okay. So, okay, so yun yung general expression for the voltage divider, a current divider circuit. Okay, so consider natin yung example na ito. Determine the current through each resistor in the circuit of figure 34. So ano yung current through each of those resistances? Okay, so syempre kunin muna natin yung total tawag dito total resistance. Okay, ano ang total resistance dito? Total resistance, sorry. Ang total resistance dito is R1 parallel to R2 parallel to R3. Okay, and yan ay 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2, 1 over R3 inverse. Okay, and if you do that, so that's 1 over 680 ohms plus 1 over 330 ohms plus 1 over 220 ohms inverse, and we'll end up with 111 ohms. Okay, so yung current through the 680 ohm resistor will give us 111 ohms divided by 680 ohms times 10 milliamperes, okay, which gives us 1.63 milliamperes. Yung current through the 330 ohm resistor will give us 111 ohms divided by 330 ohms times 10 milliamperes. And this gives us 3.36 milliamperes. And then yung current through the 220 ohm resistance. It yields 5.05 milliamperes. Okay, 5.05 milliamperes. And if you sum all of that, that's equal to 10 milliamperes approximately. Okay, so that's how current divider works. Okay. Now, compared to the voltage divider, the current divider is not so commonly used. Okay, so mas ginagamit pa rin yung voltage divider na circuit. Okay. Okay. Now, what about kanina sa voltage divider you have a series circuit. Now sa current divider you have a parallel circuit. So what about yung power in parallel circuit? How do you solve for the power in parallel circuits? Okay. Now, basically, the total amount of power sa isang parallel resistive circuit is just equal to the sum of the powers in each individual resistors in series. So it's exactly the same, okay, para sa compared to the series, okay, resistances. So N is the total number of resistors in parallel. So it doesn't matter kung parallel siya or in series, you still get this same equation. What is different is this. PT is equal to V sub S IT. Okay, kanina, so voltage divider, it's V sub S I. Okay, kasi yung current through each of the resistors is the same in series. Pero in parallel, it's not the same through each of the resistors. Kaya dapat ang kinukuha nyo is total current pag parallel resistors. Okay, which means na you're also solving for the total current squared multiplied by RT, then you get the total resistance compared sa voltage divider is just I squared RT. Okay, and this is also equal to V squared B sub S squared over RT. And then this expression is just the same as dun sa voltage divider. Okay, so the only difference between them ay yung current. So the voltage divider is, it's all the same through each of the resistors. Pero sa current divider, you use the total current to solve for the total power. Okay, so again, let's consider this example. Okay, so in this case, pwede natin ma-solve yung total na resistance to be 1 over 68 ohms plus 1 over 33 ohms plus 1 over 22 ohms inverse. Okay, this will give us 11.1 ohms. Okay. Anong pinakamadaling expression dito? Alam naman natin yung total current. Total current is 200 milliamperes. So, ang total power is total current squared times RT. So, 200 milliamperes squared times 11.1 ohms. And this gives us 444 milliwatts. Okay, yan yung total na anong tawag dito? Total na power. Okay. Now, pag parallel circuit, yung voltage across each of the resistors is the same kasi parallel nga sila. Okay, so if the source voltage is V sub S, we can actually solve for the source voltage by multiplying IT at saka RT. So IT is 200 milliamperes and RT is 11.1 ohms. So the source voltage is 2.22 volts. Then you can solve for the individual currents. Okay, kasi yung I1 is just the source voltage divided by R1. So 2.22 volts divided by 68 ohms. This gives us 72.5 milliwatts. Okay, I2 is equal to V sub S over R2. So 2.22 volts divided by 33 ohms. This gives us 149 milliwatts. And then I3 is equal to V sub S over R3, or 2.22 volts divided by ano na ba? 22 ohms? 22 ohms. And this gives us 224. Wait. Sorry, mali. Oh, sorry, mali. Current ito, current, hindi power. This is the current. Okay. So we're actually solving for the power. Power 1, so V squared, so squared. So yun, 72.5 milliwatts. So P2 ito, V squared, 149 milliwatts. So square natin yan. And then P3, V squared. So ito ay 224, okay, milliwatts. Okay, so sorry about that. And if you add these three, you'll end up with that. So PT is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3. Okay. Okay. So now let's consider one last example, okay, before we dismiss. Okay. When you do your experiments, you're always gonna find a problem. And one of the skills that you really have to develop, okay, is to troubleshoot. Ano ang problema? Okay? That's the skill that is useful not just dito sa electronics physics, but it's a skill that you've been trying to develop, diba, all throughout your BS Physics degree, diba? When you solve a problem, bakit mali yung solution ko, bakit iba yung solution ko sa kanya, iba yung final answer ko sa kanya. So you troubleshoot kung ano yung problema. Okay, and when you were taking Physics 131, you were doing your codes, okay, nakikita mo na yung results sa hindi the same, you troubleshoot yung code ninyo. Ano yung mali dun sa code, and you figure out how to revise that mistake para makuha niyo yung expected na result. And ganun din dito sa 173, especially when you build circuits. Kasi when you connect the circuit elements, you would think, oy, tama na yung pag-connect ko mukhang tama naman yung pag-connect ko ng mga circuit elements. Okay, tapos once you once you put in or apply the voltage source, biglang may puputok na resistor, biglang may puputok na capacitor, okay, and so on and so forth. So merong hindi nagwo-work, and that's what you need to figure out. Okay, so huwag kayo matakot kung may pumutok na resistor, pumutok na capacitor. Okay, it's fine, hindi nyo babayaran yon, huwag kayo mag-alala. Okay, mura lang naman siya. Pero ang skill na kailangan nyo i-develop dito is to troubleshoot. Okay, and we'll start that by taking a look at this circuit. So in this figure, okay, yan yung voltmeter readings. Okay, so the first is determine if there's a fault in the circuit, okay, based on the voltmeter readings. Okay, so ano ang tawag dito? Paano nyo ngayon i-analyze yung circuit na yan? Okay, so yan yung tanong. Okay. Paano nakuha yung voltmeter readings? And tama ba yung mga yan? So first, i-complete nyo yung solve for the expected results. Okay, tignan nyo muna kung ano yung in-expect yung results. Okay? Okay. And in order to do that, kailangan ma-recognize nyo yung circuit elements. Okay. So, ang pinag-aaralan natin all throughout today, di ba, is the voltage divider. and the current divider. Pero in this case, voltage divider yung relevant. Okay, so you have this ground, and then you have itong ground nito. Okay, so yeah. So V out. Okay, and then plus, and then ground. So, pansinin nyo na yung, how do you connect itong mga circuit elements na ito? Yung isang paanong R2 connected sa ground, okay? And then yung voltmeter nyo connected din sa ground. Yung reference ng voltmeter nyo connected sa ground. Then yung isang paanong R1 ay connected sa positive terminal. Now, yung paanong R1 at R2 na hindi connected, ay i-connect nyo. At dun nyo ilalagay yung isang terminal ng voltmeter. So, ganyan nyo i-construct yung inyong voltage divider circuit pag nilagay nyo na sa breadboard. Okay, now, if you look at this circuit, asan dyan ang voltage divider circuit ninyo? Okay, so kung titignan nyo mabuti, you actually have two voltage divider circuit here. Okay, so ano yung una? Ito yung unang voltage divider circuit. Okay, tignan niyo yung yung reference yung voltage source. Ito yung plus, yun yung minus. Ibig sabihin ito yung ground. Yan yung ground. Okay. And makikita niyo naman na yun yung ground kasi pag tinignan niyo to, yun connected sa ground. So itong terminal na ito ay connected sa ground. Okay. Okay. So ito yung voltage divider circuit natin ngayon. So ito yung 30 volts. Yan yung R1 na 12 kilo ohms. And then, yan yung R3. Sorry. Burahin natin to. Yan yung R3 na 4.7 kilo ohms at yung R1 na 12 kilo ohms. Okay. Ano yung role ng R2? Kung papansinin ninyo, yung R2 ay connected sa point A. Ito yung point A. Diba? Yung point A is yung positive terminal. Okay. Ito yung positive terminal connected sa R3. Positive terminal connected sa R3. And then yung kabilang paanong R3 at saka yung dugtong dun sa R1, yan yun. Yan yung point A. And then nakadugtong din sa point A yung R2. So ibig sabihin yung R2 nyo is this. Okay. So ito yung R2, which is 8.2 kilo ohms. So yung R2 is actually in parallel with the 12 kilo ohm resistance. And yung voltmeter, okay, ay nandiyan. Yan yung nagbabasa ng 15.3 volts. So i-check nyo ngayon kung 15.3 volts yun tamang reading yan. Okay. If we do that, we'll have voltage at point A is equal to R1 parallel sa R2. Di ba? Parallel yung R1 tsaka yung R2 divided by R3 plus R1 parallel sa R2. Ang equivalent resistance ng parallel resistance ng R2 tsaka ng 12 kilo ohms tsaka ng 8.2 kilo ohms is 4.87 kilo ohms divided by 4.7 kilo ohms, yun yung R3 plus 4.87 kilo ohms. Sorry, VS pa pala dito. And then ito multiply natin to by 30 volts. So this gives us 15.3 volts, which means na ito is correct. So walang problema dito sa side ng circuit na ito. Okay? Walang problema dito sa side ng circuit na ito. Okay, now let's take a look at the second voltage divider circuit. Ito yung second voltage divider circuit. Okay, remember this is ground. Okay. Paano yan naging second? Kasi itong positive terminal na-connect sa R5, sa isang paanong R5. And then yung ground na-connect sa isang paanong, anong tawag dito? Yung ground, ito yung ground. Ground, connected yan. Na-connect sa isang paanong R6. And then, yung paa ng R5 tsaka R6 na hindi connected sa isa't isa ay kinonect at point B. Okay. So, yung pangalawa yung voltage divider is this. Okay, ito yung ground. And then, yung positive yung R5. So, R5 is 5.6 kilo ohms. And then, ito yung point B. And then, yung sa nakakonekta sa negative sa ground is R6 equal to 3.3 kilo ohms. Okay. Okay. Ngayon, ano itong papel ng R4? Yung R4, dun nakakonect sa positive terminal ng 30 volts. So, in other words, andito yung R4. Connected siya sa ground. R4 is 6.8 kilo ohms. Okay? So, yung R4 is parallel to both the sum of R5 and R6. But, yung voltmeter is just measuring RB, VB. Okay, VB lang yung minimeasure niya, voltage across R6. So 30 volts nga ba yung output dyan? Okay, so meron bang effect itong R4 na ito? So ang gagawin nito is split niya. So pagdating dito sa junction, is-split niya yung current dun sa junction. So mababawasan ngayon yung current through R5 and R6. Okay, kasi napupunta yung iba sa R4. Okay? Okay. So, ano ngayon yung current? Okay. So, kailangan yata natin magdagdag ng isang slide. Oops. Okay. So, tignan muna natin yung sum ng R5 tsaka R6. Ano ang sum ng R5 tsaka R6? Okay. R5 plus R6 orange. Gamitin natin. Is 5.6 plus 2.3, 5.6 kilo ohms plus 3.3 kilo ohms is equal to 8.9 kilo ohms. Okay, tapos yung R4 is 6.8. 6.8 kilo ohms. Okay, so ibig sabihin yung current going through 5 and 6, okay, is equal to, okay, yung voltage source which is 30 volts, okay, divided by yung total resistance. Okay, 30 volts divided by 8.9 kilo ohms. Okay, so this gives us 3.371 volts. Yung current through R4, sorry, 3.37 milliamperes. Milliamperes kasi kilo ohms yan. So you're dividing voltage by kilo ohms of 3.371 milliamperes. Current through R4 is 30 volts divided by 6.8 kilo ohms. This gives us 4.412 milliamperes. Okay, so you have 3.371 milliamperes at dito 4.412 milliamperes. Now yung voltage across point B with reference to the ground is the voltage across R6. So yung V6 ngayon is equal to yung current through 5 and 6, 3.371 milliamperes times yung R6 which is 3.3 kilo ohms. Okay, ano ang sagot dito? Ang sagot dyan is 11.1 volts. Okay, so let's go back. kita natin na ang measurement is 30 volts. Okay, so ibig sabihin, dito sa circuit na binilugan ko ng orange, mali yung voltmeter reading. So, what's wrong? What's wrong? Okay, yan ang isusulat niyo sa notes niyo. Okay, at aalis na kayo, matutulog, magkakape, or makipagtsikahan, or whatever. Okay? Well, try niyo i-figure out kung ano yung problema. Okay? Well, the problem is actually very simple. Titignan niyo mabuti. Ang input, ang source voltage is 30 volts. And if it's a real voltage divider circuit, i-divide niyo yung voltage across each of the resistors. Tama? Pero kung titignan niyo, dito, binabato niya lahat ng 30 volts. So, it's not a voltage divider circuit kasi wala siyang binibigay na voltage dito. Diba? Supposedly, between these terminals, i-divide niya yung 30 volts dito. Ito, 30 volts talaga yan kasi nga nakaparallel siya, di ba? Okay, pero dapat dito at saka dito, i-divide niya yung 30 volts. Pero lahat ng 30 volts na dito, ibig sabihin, anong voltage dito? Voltage dito is 0 volts. Kailan lang yan magiging 0 volts? Okay. Magiging 0 volts lang yan kapag, ano sa tingin niyo? Well, kailan ba kayo nakaka-measure ng 0 volts sa multimeter? Okay, sa voltmeter. 0 siya pag shorted. Di ba? Kasi, ang tawag dito, zero resistance. Di ba? So, ibig sabihin, itong resistor na ito, yang resistor na yan ay may sira. It's shorted. Okay. So, kailangan yung palitan niyang resistor. Okay, so, this is a basic example of how to troubleshoot your circuit. Kailangan nyo muna i-solve yung expected results and i-compare kung ano yung nakukuha yung measurements dun sa expected yung results. And once na ma-figure out nyo yung mali, isipin nyo kung bakit siya mali. And once na ma-figure out nyo kung bakit siya mali, you do what you can. You replace, in this case, you replace the resistor and check if by replacing the resistor, you get the expected result. Pag nakita nyo na expected result, ibig sabihin resistor na pinilitan niyo in this example is actually shorted or may defect. Okay? Now let's consider yung second question dito. Determine the voltmeter readings in figure 108 if the 4.7 kilo ohm resistor opens. Okay, so if this is open, okay, anong ibig sabihin yan? Basically, if that resistor is not present, okay, ibig sabihin, infinite yung, infinite yung voltage. Okay? Yung voltage is infinite. Okay, in that case, kung walang resistor dito, okay, ano nang nangyayari ngayon? Oops. Anong nangyayari ngayon kung walang resistor dyan? Then, saan pupunta ngayon yung, anong tawag dito, yung current? Walang pupuntahan yung current dito sa terminal na ito. In fact, this point, which is already connected to ground, okay, is, itong line na ito, all of this is connected to ground. Okay, so, ang ibig ko sabihin is, if you have this 30 volt line na connected sa ground, okay, ito yung point na ito. Okay. Then ito, connected yan, dalawa na yan, to ground. So yan yung R1 at yung R2. Ibig sabihin yung R1 at saka R2 ay connected sa ground. And yung etong wire na to, it's basically just a short. So it's zero resistance. Saan pupunta ngayon yung current? Lahat ng current pupunta dito. Okay? Kasi wala kang resistance yan. Walang current na pupunta dito. So anong voltmeter reading nyo dito ngayon? Ito yung point A, di ba? Yan yung point A, connected to ground. Okay? Anong voltmeter reading nyo ngayon dyan? Ang voltmeter reading nyo ngayon dyan is 0. 0 because there's no current passing through here. And if there's no current through R2, 0 times R2 will give you 0 volts. Okay? Now you can try to solve some more problems dito sa lesson na ito from the book, okay, na reference material na ginagamit natin. Nilagay ko na rito yung mga page numbers at saka yung numbers na kung saan meron tayong sample problems. Yung style naman sa course na ito is before the exam, nag-solve naman talaga tayo ng practice problems. And we're going to solve yung practice problems na naka-indicate dito. But if you want to try these problems on your own, even before then, and you already have solutions, pwede natin i-discuss yung solutions niyo para malaman niyo kung tama yung ginagawa niyo or may kailangang i-improve yung sa solution niyo. Okay? So that's it for today's meeting, and I'll see you sa next meeting when we discuss more circuits with DC sources. Okay?